All right, the name of this video is Why Are You So Resistant to Change? There's a saying that people don't change, and I think that's almost true. I think change is really difficult, and it can be next to impossible to change someone else. I think that one has to want to change in order to change. But even when you want to change, even when there's something that you're wanting to create in your life, some new pattern, maybe you're wanting to break through some type of glass ceiling in your business or the work that you do. Maybe you're wanting to uncouple from some type of relationship dynamic that's creating suffering over and over again. It can be really difficult. And why? And sometimes if we don't know why, what ends up happening is we turn against ourselves even more, and we think that it should be easy, and we get really frustrated. And then suddenly we make an enemy of ourselves because we might not see the inner workings of why change can be so difficult. So through years of working with people, as well as having some incredible teachers in my corner who have taught me some of these concepts and ushered me into being able to help folks actually create permanent change in their life, there's a couple principles here that I want to lead with, that I want to bring to your attention so that they can foster more compassion for the journey that you're on, and so that you can see yourself with more understanding and better perspective on what's actually happening, and then maybe even begin to see the way through your current state, your current predicament, so that you can create what you want in the realm of life, business, relationships. The first reason why it's so difficult to change for humans is because there is an ecology that's already working in your life. So if you're stuck, if you're feeling like you're in some pattern that keeps repeating, there is actually a hidden harmony to that problem state. Meaning that if you're watching this video right now, you haven't died, you still have a pulse, and therefore the prime directive of being human, of being alive, maintaining your heart rate, your breath, it's still happening. And so change is unfamiliar. And the patterns that you've been in are not. Your body, your system, your unconscious mind knows how to survive them. And therefore, it makes sense for them to continue to replicate these patterns in your life because they give you a sense of certainty that you know how to handle them, even if it's creating suffering in your life. There's a difference between what your conscious mind thinks is safe versus what your unconscious experience of safety is. And so this is why we repeat patterns. This is why we get into abusive relationships again and again. This is why we might pick the same type of business partners over and over again. This is why we might stay stuck behind some glass ceiling. It's not self-sabotage. It's just the familiar is seductive. The familiar is safe. And so to step out of that requires an incredible amount of courage because our unconscious mind doesn't actually have evidence that we can survive it, even though we consciously know that we most likely can, that the chances are 99% we will, 99.9%. So that's the first reason, is the hidden ecology of your current state. There's a harmony there that we need to begin to understand and see how things are actually working, even when up here they feel like they're not. The next reason why people don't change is because of devotional patterning. And devotional patterning means that there is a way in which we are devoted to our parents and our family and those that came before us. And what that means is that when we're little, one of the ways that we ensure safety is that we belong to our parents. And one of the ways that we know how to belong to our parents is by replicating inside of us their current state, their patterns, their dysfunction, their greatness, whatever it is. We are replicating our caregivers because it allows us to track them on a deep emotional level, and it allows us to, in some ways, stay connected to them in a very interesting psycho-emotional way. Now, what ends up happening in this is these are agreements that we make as a young child to belong to our family. And as we get older and we start to individuate and we start to have things that come online inside of our heart that we want, these deep desires, we end up running into some type of glass wall. And we wonder why we can't change. And it's because there is some type of unconscious contract there that may be present with one or both of our parents that keep us from deviating too far from the family pattern. So that's the second reason why it's so difficult to change is devotional patterning. And the third reason why it's so damn difficult to change is because it's freaking humbling. Right? Like, if you think about it, here you are, maybe you've got 10, 20, 30 years of being in some type of pattern. And if it was just that easy to get out, that might feel like a loss. It might feel like a loss of decades that have happened up until now. And what it requires is us to actually stand in this place where we have to admit that maybe we're wrong about who we think we are. Maybe we're wrong about who we think other people are. Maybe we're wrong about how we think life actually works. And if we're wrong about that, and we're wrong about who we are, suddenly we are transported into a realm of uncertainty that is so exposing and so vulnerable and so open that it's terrifying. So what do we do as humans? We cling on to what we think has been true about us. We go back to maybe self-accusations and patterns that are familiar, when what's required in change is actually to step into the unknown. It's to step into this idea that maybe you don't know who you are. And that place of confusion, going from this certainty about how you think your life is and what you think is possible to a place of confusion, is a transitionary step. That's very uncomfortable. But when you pop out the other side, there's the opportunity to allow things to constellate, new beliefs, a new identity level narrative to constellate on the other side that is far more congruent and supportive of the direction that you're ultimately headed consciously and intentionally. So those are the three reasons. The first one is ecology, the hidden harmony in your life. The second is devotional patterning with your parents. And the third is this idea that we have to let go of this narrative of who we are and what life is. And all those things are really scary. So I hope that what this has been able to give you is a perspective on being human and the different forces that are in some ways holding you in place, not to discourage you, but to allow you to have more compassion and to begin to see things more clearly with curiosity. Because when we approach our stuckness with curiosity, we actually begin to untangle it. So this is something that I love doing. I love being in conversation with people about this. This is how this kind of change actually happens, is through a transformative coaching relationship where you have another person witnessing you, asking you questions, and being a steward into this unknown territory to help you begin to create a vision and untangle from the things that have been blocking you, that have been holding you back, and usher you into this next realm of creating that is possible in your life. So if you'd like to engage with me, feel free to click on the link below this description. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about where you're at and talk about what it is that you want to create in your life. We can go from there. Thanks for watching.